What's going on, everybody? Today I wanted to show some game-changing information about PvP. Now, I have personally experienced this, but I never knew the actual numbers behind it or where you could see it in-game. And I found this on Reddit, a post on Reddit talking about this, and I also saw that Kyr Mobile did an awesome video on it, so I'll go ahead and link to his channel down below as well. And what we're finding out, at least from a numbers perspective, is the actual effectiveness of your gems in PvP, or legendary gems specifically. Now, supposedly, I've not necessarily seen this myself or clicked on it, you could actually see this in a PvP match. So if we go in and see the right, the right practice, and we enter a battleground, we should see the debuff, or at least the notification, pop up in the top left. And it looks like we do. So we have Strife, bonuses from legendary gems, magic, and breakthrough affixes, and other percentage effects reduced while fighting players. Now, here's the question. When we're talking about percentage effects, what does that include? Well, we're talking, okay, Blessing of the Worthy. There is 17% of your current life, decreasing all damage you take by 8%. And this debuff right here is supposedly 66%, meaning 66% reduced effectiveness. So if we just check our gear here real quick, well, something like Phoenix Ash is a really good one to kind of compare, because when you are taking fatal damage, you'll absorb a shield equal to 660% of your base damage. Now, for me, that will be, I'm at about, let's just round that up to 6K. So 6 times 6K is going to be about 36,000 life, a little bit more. It's about 40,000 life because it's 660%. Now we're gonna go ahead and try to get down to fatal HP here, and I'm just gonna let them hit me here and see when the Phoenix Ashes procs. Looks like my team is just gonna go and run and kill them all off. So we're gonna have to go find the group once again, see if they can get me real low here, and just see, okay, so they're hitting me, I'm getting tossed around. And we'll be able to see the actual health or the shield amount from Phoenix Ash as well. These guys are literally standing in place, but hopefully they'll be able to get to this. Come on. It's taking a little while, but there's the Phoenix Ash proxy. You can see there, it barely did about 15% of my life, and that should have done over half of my life in shield. So clearly it is a debuff. It's going to be reduced to about 33% effectiveness, which means that all of your legendary gems do something completely different, basically, in terms of damage, in terms of survivability, and so it's much more interesting in terms of legendary gem builds, because you don't necessarily want your Berserker's Eye, your Bloody Reaches, your 1 and 2 star gems, or even your Blood-Soaked Jade here. It's not going to increase your damage by 13.5%, supposedly, right? If we're looking at our debuff here again, wow, I'm just getting completely murdered right now with all of these debuffs on me. But you can see other percentage effects reduced while fighting players. So this would assume, you'd assume that this would also apply to your damage dealing effects, because that is those are percentage amplifiers in PvP. Now, another question is resonance. These are increasing your equipment based attributes by a percentage amount. Now, I don't know if we can necessarily test the resonance, in fact, in terms of your damage dealt. What I do know is that if we go and we check out our skills menu and we look at, let's just pick up a skill here. This is going to do 7,563 damage. Let's go ahead and try to use that on one of these opponents. Boom, it did a lot, way more. It did 17,000 damage, but that might be just because of our defensive stats and their defensive stats and how it all plays together. But it doesn't look like resonance is really reduced from this debuff, which means that resonance is super impactful. You could say that these are percentage increased in PvP from the Strife debuff, but I think that this is a little unique because it says bonuses from legendary gems, magic, and breakthrough affixes, and other percentage effects. Well, this is a percentage effect affecting the base stats, so your life and your damage. And you can see here my life total. If we could just click on someone, well, I can't really click on myself and see it, but if you click on someone else's life total in PvP, it doesn't say that they have less than their life total in their stat menu, which means resonance gives full effect in PvP. And so at the end of the day, what this means is that your legendary gems, your magic affixes, your attributes, your family attributes, things like these right here, maximum life, and your bonus attributes and things like this, those matter significantly less than just straight up resonance. Now, we already knew that resonance was such a powerful feat. However, this reinforces that idea even more. Resonance is even more impactful. Now, one other thing about this and how we should kind of craft our builds is that set effects give you more value than we initially thought. Because initially it was, okay, we have your legendary gems and these set effects kind of amplify our abilities. But because legendary gems and other magic and bonus attributes don't work as much, well, this means that this bonus that we're getting is even more massive than we might think, because of the comparison of how much other bonuses we can get other places. So if we just look at Mount Bank set here, and we lost, I have to go run back into it, and I'll be back. But I wanted to showcase Mount Bank set. It's going to give us a shield based on our max HP, and it doesn't look like it's reduced at all. I'll go ahead and run back into the battleground and showcase it for you here. Back in the battlegrounds, and we're going to pay attention to the top left corner, because you can see the shield is about 13% of my max HP, which is what it should be based on this Mount Bank set. So set items seem to not be affected by this at all. It's only legendary gems, magic affixes, bonus attributes, things like that. Resonance is not affected at all. And so if this is the case, we really want to focus on upgrading our sets, getting the correct sets, and getting the resonance. We do not care about what the gem does. As long as you have the resonance, it doesn't really matter. And so really, this is just a huge PvP consideration, because when we're talking about PvE, we don't have the Strife debuff. But if you are interested in becoming competitive in PvP, and you're interested in becoming competitive in the Rite of Exile, things like that, and you want to maximize your potential, you really got to focus on resonance, and you really have to focus on set items. Now, we sort of already knew this. However, it's much, much more than you might think. And for someone like myself, I might be dropping Phoenix Ashes, honestly, and putting in something like a Swenson's Haunting, because I happen to have a 4/5 bound and also a 4/5 marketable gem. But just because of the resonance, I'm going to be getting so much more value in PvP, as well as the combat rating. And Phoenix Ashes doesn't really do too much for me in PvP or PvE, simply for the shield being so little in PvP. And in PvE, if I'm already being that low, well, I shouldn't have been that low in the first place. The only place I really care about this is challenge rifts, and this Swenson's might even help me more in there. So this does really change around the builds a little bit in terms of PvE and PvP content, because you might want to focus on building for PvP and just focus on getting the resonance, and it will translate into decent kind of build for PvE, because you'll get more damage, which will progress you in PvE as well. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of information. I thought it was a little interesting. I definitely kind of glanced over it myself. I knew that Phoenix Ashes was way lower of a shield than it should have been based on the tooltip. I just didn't know where that was coming from. And it looks like it was a debuff in that it's green for one, which is a little strange because your debuffs normally are red, but it looks like it is massively reduced to about a 66% based on some math done by a Reddit user. And we'll see if I can find the post and link it in the description down below. If you want to check out that or Kyra's video as well talking about this, I'll leave those in the description down below as well. So there you have it, and I will see you for the next video.